I'm going to walk through how to add a promotional pop-up to your website, which is a fancy word for saying a pop-up. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to marketing, and then we're going to click on promotional pop-up. All right, from here, this is where all the magic happens. So let me give you a little bit of advice on how to start, because you want to go in a specific order with these 5 options and then go from there. So the first thing to do before you actually make any major changes is go to change layout. Here you could decide what type of layout that you want. Do you want it to look more like this? Do you want it to have an image as the background? Do you want it to show up at the bottom across the entire page? How would you like it to show up? Would you like it to fill the entire screen? You have a ton of options here. Choose which one you like. Now, this is going to help you as you go into the other sections to customize it. The big note that I want to make here that you should be aware of, let's say I choose this style. And then I go into this style editor here, in here, and I start making changes. Let's just say I change this, for example, to look something like that. And I've made 20 changes to all these different items. And then I hit save. It's important to know that if I go back here to change layout, it doesn't save those changes. So you basically have to start from scratch again every time you do this. So decide the layout first. That's going to be very important as you work through the other pieces. All right, so we're gonna go back to what we had before. Yeah, I would have to make those style changes again. So just be sure you choose the layout that you like. My recommendation, if you've never done this before, you just starting, you'll probably use one of these 3 here. I don't recommend filling the page. I don't recommend this one either, filling the page. The bottom, these 2 can work, but if you're just starting out, one of these 3 is probably best. This one, or this one. So I'm gonna start actually with this. And one thing just to over communicate as we're taking a look here, you'll see here, this is to subscribe. You could change this to go to a specific page of your website, same as these as well. So don't be worried if you're thinking, oh, I actually don't want anyone to subscribe. I want them to go to a specific page and just have a button there to go to that page. Well, you could do that. So I'm gonna select this style here, and then I'm gonna click save. So that's step 1, basically, deciding the layout. Step 2 is going to be action. So let's decide what the action is. The action can be sign up for a newsletter or click a button. As we just said, you could have 2 buttons here. So I could have home / for example, and shop / So there could be 2 buttons. It could just be 1 button if I like, something like this. Whatever makes most sense for you. All you have to do here is add the URL that you want it to go to. If this is actually home, it would be home, and this would say shop, for example. Oh, worth mentioning, if you do the newsletter, just note that there's 4 sections here that you could customize. And so you have the actual button, what it says, all this text here. Then you have storage where you want to send it. And then you have verification, how that works, depending on how you store it, all of that. And then post submit. What would you like it to say after that? Cool. So I'm going to keep it here with the 2 buttons for now. And we'll go back. All right, now let's talk about content. So the content is these items here. So we'll take a look. Headline, body. You could come in here and adjust that, play with it as you like. From there, display and timing. Now, this is the most important aspect of a pop-up. You really want to consider how you want this to work on your site. If you are a blog, it'll be a little bit different than if you're e-commerce, which will be a little bit different if you're a consultant. They all vary a bit. So it really depends on what your goal is. But just be mindful of the user experience for a first-time user. If I visit your website for the first time, I know a lot of e-commerce do this. Within the first 10 seconds, the pop-up shows up so they could get your email to save quote unquote 10% or whatever the deal might be, which works. It just depends on what you want to do there and also how friendly or annoying you want to be when you first start. I highly recommend doing it later in the process or being a little bit slower in the process. But if you're doing heavy marketing or spending a ton of money on paid ads, it's probably a good idea to do this sooner than later. So you have a few options here. Show the pop-up on, here are 2 options, any first page or only certain pages. Now, if you're a blog or e-commerce, this actually works really well. So you could say only certain pages, and then you could select the pages here. So if it's a blog, I could say, hey, they might have ended up on my site from an organic search on Google and then ended up on one of my articles. So I actually want them to see the pop-up if they are on one of the articles. You could also select multiple. So it's not just one, you could select a few, but I will keep it just articles for now. Next, timing. A lot of options here. First thing is show on a timer and scroll. So this is basically a breakdown of these two options here. You could either show it on a timer or show it on scroll. Depends on what you like. So in this case, let's keep it at both so you can see it. This is after 5 seconds or 25% down. And as you can see here, it says whichever comes first. So if they don't scroll 25% down, but it's been 5 seconds, they'll see the pop-up, and vice versa. If they scroll 25% down in 1 second, they're going to see the pop-up. So you could decide how you like to do this. Again, if it's a blog, you actually might want to do it at 75% down because that shows that they're actually really interested in the content and you've captured their interest by that point. Versus if they've just been on your site for 5 seconds, maybe your site has just barely loaded and they're just starting to get a feel of what your website looks and feels like. Showing a pop-up 5 seconds in is quite quick. So maybe in this case, 10 seconds. 10 seconds is a lot of time in the internet world, and 30 seconds is ages, basically. So 10 to 30 seconds, if you're doing something like a blog, makes sense. If it's e-commerce, highly recommend. Personally, I recommend the experience I like would be 10 seconds or longer. Definitely not immediate. So you could choose what you like here and make that adjustment. Now, this part here is very interesting and it's very important, and I want to highlight it, especially for SEO. So when you talk about frequency, you're saying, okay, so how often does it show up? Here it says every 30 days or the next day, 1 week, 2 weeks, or it just never shows up again. This is something that I really hope they develop further with full privacy, track the experience so that they could serve to the right people at the right times. This is a very limited option, especially built into Squarespace, but it works. So if you're really trying to get email signups or your email newsletter is very important, I would probably do 1 week, 2 weeks, next day, something like that. 30 days is a long time. That's a really long time in the internet world. What I'd like to say for SEO is show on mobile. I would turn this off completely. The reason is I know a lot of e-commerce businesses do this as well. So if you're e-com, you might want to do it. But truly, pop-ups can negatively affect your SEO on Google because it just covers the whole page. So the user can experience what they went to the site for. They really don't prefer it. Again, almost every e-commerce company I know that runs ads on Instagram show a pop-up on mobile. But in this case, it's one of those things that for SEO purposes, I don't recommend it. And you have this option here, don't show again after newsletter signup. This is great if it's a newsletter signup. If it's buttons like this, or you have an event coming up and you want to show people every 2 days, or what was it, every other day or every week, whatever that might be, you actually might want to turn that off. So basic recommendations for 80% of websites, you could set it to basically your whole site, or you could set it just to certain pages. From there, after 10 seconds, 50% of the way down would be fine. And then frequency, I would probably do every week, and I would have this turned off. Show on mobile would be turned off. And depending on if it's a newsletter or what type of event it is, this would either be checked or unchecked. But those would be my settings for display and timing. So I'll click save there and I'll go back. Hey guys, quick little commercial break. Okay, so I have a plugin on my site. I saw this on a lot of Shopify stores and I thought this was beautiful. So we designed it, we coded it for you. Now, if someone ends up on your site, especially if you're e-commerce and you have a newsletter that you want them to sign up for and they'll get a discount, what ends up happening? Typically, the newsletter shows up right away, and if they close out of it, they're actually not able to get to it again. But now on sites, what they're doing, I absolutely love, they're putting a little button in the corner. Now, this isn't on Squarespace, so we created it. So what you can see here, somebody's on the page, the pop-up comes up as you saw it a moment ago, but on this little button here, which you can customize, they can click on it, and boom, the pop-up shows up again. Now, this is the native Squarespace pop-up. So you're looking at the actual promotional pop-up built in Squarespace. So you're not using any third-party tool. You're not customizing anything. All you do is add a bit of code to your site, and whatever settings you use in your promotional pop-up for timing and display and all of that, it'll work with this. So you could have this say view pop-up. It could say save 10%, save 15%, save $50, whatever you like. You can customize it. You could customize the placement as well. So check the link down below to learn more about the plugin and use code NEWFRIENDS to save 11% on your order. Now, we've done a lot of the work so far. Here, we get to add the image that will go right here. So I'm gonna add an image and I'm just gonna click here and hit search image. Any of the images on my site already will show up here. And so I am just gonna add this image that we use for basically everything on this demo website. You could add multiple images and I think it'll like scroll through them or something, but I recommend simpler the better. So here, image is added to the pop-up. We have this. Now let's brand this so it fits more with our style. So I'm gonna go back here. And now I'm going to go to style. Here is where the magic happens. So you have a lot of options where you can make adjustments to the overall look and feel. Just keep in mind that we turned off mobile. So you could customize this, but you won't necessarily see it. Now I'm making this adjustment. The text is, I'm saying the background is going to be red. Color behind text, red. Do you see anything that's red? No. The reason is because for mobile styles, the way you see it, you have to actually click mobile preview and then it'll pop up. So now you could actually see what it will look like. So here, I'm gonna actually click on this again, change it back to white. That looks much better. I love that the buttons are actually next to each other. Looks really good. Again, I'm not keeping it on because, hey, it's mobile and I don't wanna obscure the content. You could see here they actually removed the image, so there's no image showing up here with the options, but then you could go through and customize the font, look and feel, all of that. All right, so let's go back to the main display so we could take a look here and let's make some adjustments. So for the font, I'm just gonna leave that now. You could go in here and make all the adjustments as you like, but I am gonna change the colors of a few things. So I'm gonna change this to blue, and the one thing I'd like to do for the body font is actually change the weight to 400 and change the font size to I'll keep 17. And there's spacing between the letters. I'm just gonna remove that completely. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, background color. This is the background here around the pop-up. So you'll see it's like a light gray. I would just probably work with this slider right here and move it here if you want it to show a bigger contrast between your actual website and the pop-up. From there, you could actually change the color behind the text. So if you want it to be a completely different look and feel, you can do that. And then for the image, you have some options. So you could put an overlay on the image where it's auto, or you could customize it. So here I could select any color I want and then just put an overlay on it so it darkens it a bit or whatever I like. For now, I am actually gonna just keep it off completely. Okay, so let's talk about the buttons. I like that it's inline auto because you could also have it stacked like that. That looks, I think both of those actually look really good. But I'm gonna keep it inline auto for now. I am gonna play with this a bit so it's a little bit thicker. The buttons are a little bit bigger. And then I'm also going to do that. Okay. I always tend to have bigger fonts with things like this. Okay, so you could do rounded corners, whatever you like. Change the color. Here, I actually will change it to the same blue I had before. It's not a perfect blue. I'm just doing this off a whim. But now it has a nice look and feel overall. And if you have a disclaimer for the newsletter, you could adjust that. The close button is right here. It's asking you what kind of style you like for it. So it could be the icon, it could be text. I'm gonna keep the icon, and then it gives you this option of inside or corner. So it goes from here to here. So you can make that adjustment as you like. I'm gonna keep it inside. And the color, it works great. If I change this background to like say a gray, it might not be viewable. So you could adjust that color here. Finally, overlay animation, fade in. This is really cool that they give you these options. So it could slide up like that, or scale up, grow into the page, or fade in. Personally, my favorite, slide in. That's nice. And this is for the advanced person who really wants to take things to the next level. Just be mindful of all screen sizes and things. But here, if you hit enable, you could actually start to play with a lot of different pieces here. So the content width right now is at 650 pixels. But if I want to adjust this, I can. As you see, there's a lot of formatting that changes as you play with this. So just be mindful of that. I will set it right now to, let's just do that, 975. And then padding from the top and bottom, I'm gonna have it grow just a bit. Okay, so 180, perfect. It's a lot bigger now. It takes up more space on the screen, and you can make additional changes here as well. And I'll say this, so one change I actually really like here is overlay alignment. So if you want to set everything to center, especially for something like this that has 2 buttons, it could look really good. And again, if you really want to be fancy, you could put a border around this whole thing. Right now it's set to 10 pixels. I could set the border to whatever color I want. And so just like that, we have set up a pop-up from beginning to end. Now, the last thing you just need to do is turn this on. I am on a demo website, and as you can see, it's telling me to have the business plan or higher, and you'll probably have that set up already. But once you do, you just turn it on, click save, and then it'll start working against the timing and display and all the settings that you have set up. Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you got value from this video, I have some resources for you that I bet will be helpful. Check out the link down below where you could access more resources that are free for you, for your website, for your online presence, for your design, all of that. Check out the link below. With that, if you got value from this video, let me know by hitting that like button. When you hit the like button, it tells the YouTube algorithm some important information, but it also tells me that you got value from this video. And if you want more content like this, please subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll make sure you get updated every single week. We publish a new video every single Friday. So when you hit that subscribe button, you will be notified. And with that, have a great day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.